So now for our context, I think as I read this, and hopefully as you hear that text and you read it for yourself, there's things that maybe you have heard growing up in the church or things that you have read that start to jostle in your mind as you hear that. For me, it's that line from the Lord's Prayer, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. That's the first thing that I hear here. And what's so interesting about what Jesus is getting at here and what's in that prayer is that there seems to be some kind of reciprocal nature between our forgiving other people and God's forgiving us. Now, I'm always careful to not draw a direct correlation. It's not like we have these spells and incantations that we say and do in order to get God to perform for us, but it's almost like the measure to which we forgive others is the measure of forgiveness that we can receive from God. Not that God stops giving any measure of forgiveness, but it's something about opening up our hearts and our minds to be able to receive that forgiveness. And it's assumed in the Lord's Prayer almost that we are already doing that forgiveness. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Or perhaps there's some more of that reciprocity going on too. Forgive us, Lord, to the measure with which we forgive other people. Maybe Jesus would say it this way, that before we can receive the grace offered to us at the communion table, we must offer and receive grace from one another, reconciling and forgiving one another. That's actually what passing of the peace is about. We kind of call that community time where we're hanging out for a couple minutes before somebody gets up here to speak, passing the peace. But there's truly more than that. Ancient church writings like the Didache talk about how we must be right with one another before we offer our gifts, just like Jesus is saying. Or for us, before we come to the communion table, we must be right with one another, relationally right with one another, forgiving one another.